What's up? Welcome back, guys. Today we'll continue with the card UI part, and we'll also be continuing this Flutter McDonald's app UI series. So, in the last part, we actually built some of the basic part of this card. So, I accidentally built write the code into my main.dart file. So, I'll just cut this up and I'll just paste it into my card.dart file. So as you guys can see, I now have the code which we did in the last part. So here what now we have to build is that we have to build the card body, and also this custom bar at the bottom, which will be the bottom bar. So we have to build it, and we need to build the card body. Okay, so let us start. So first of all, let us see what we have uh, in the bottom bar. So as you guys can see, this is the bottom bar. Here I have the screenshot of that app. Into our card UI, we have this bottom bar, which will contain the total, which will be the total amount of the items present. Then the persons, the count of persons, which can be changed because it can be increased, or and it also can be decreased. And then we have this dummy next button, which would basically mean to confirm the order. That's it. So we have this three most important things which we'll be building now, and then we'll be building the card body, which will be the upper part of our app. First of all, let us mention the widgets out here. So inside the scaffold and inside the safe area, we have we'll first mention a child. So child, which will be the card body, which we have not created but will soon create. So this is the card body, which would be a food item. So we have not created this widget, and we are going to create it very soon. And after that, we need to give another parameter, which would be the bottom navigation bar. So bottom navigation bar. So this bottom navigation bar is that which we'll be building in this video. So we'll be building this bottom part of our app. So it will be included as bottom navigation bar into our card widget. So it would be just a bottom bar. So today in this video we'll be building this bottom bar, and first of all, let us create a stateless widget, which would be the bottom bar. So stateless. So I'll just create a stateless widget. So bottom bar. So first of all, as I've already mentioned before, we basically need three important things into our bottom bar. We also have this horizontal line, which you guys can see. So this is our bottom bar. I'll mention it again. So this part is our bottom bar, and so let's build it. So it is going to return a container with a margin. Let's give it a margin. So margin edge insets dot only. Okay, it's inset dot only, and then we'll give left. Okay, left. Okay, left 35. Let's say 35, and then bottom 25. Okay, and then we'll need to give a child to this container. So let's give a child. So child. So the child would be a column. So column. Okay, so column, and inside this column we'll have a main access size, main access size dot min, and then we are going to have children. So children widgets, and the widgets would, first one would be the total amount. So we'll include the total amount widget. So total amount, which we have not built it yet, and we are going to build it very soon. And then we need to give a parameter like food items, so that it can actually count the number of items and decide the price accordingly, and calculate the price, total price accordingly. And then we have here a small, I think you guys will be able to see it. So this is a small divider which we are going to create. So let's create this small divider. So it would be just divider, and we'll give a small height. So height would be just 1, and color would be okay, so height is 1, and color is colors dot gray. Okay, color is dot gray, and let's make it a little bit lighter, so 700 would be perfect. Okay, and then what we need to do is we need to let's look at the picture. So here we have after this total amount, then we have the person. So I'll give another widget which would be the persons widget, so comma the persons, which we have not created it, and we'll create it very soon. And then the next button bar, which you guys can see, this is the next button bar. So next button bar. So basically our button bar consists of mainly 3 widgets. First one is the total amount, the second one would be the persons, the number of persons, the count of persons, or the quantity, whatever you might say, and then the next button bar. So first of all, let us start with the persons. So let us include the persons. So I think I am going to start out here. So container persons. Okay, so first of all this will return another container, so return container. Okay, container, and what else? Let's put a semicolon out here, and then inside this container what do we need? So let's have a look. So what we need is that we'll first need a row. So basically, if you know how to lay out in Flutter, then you guys can see that this persons and this option is on the same row. So we would need a row as a child, but let us give a margin first. So margin edge insets dot only right, we'll give a margin at right, so right 10, and then let's give a padding. So padding would be edge insets dot symmetric, which would be a vertical 30, and then we would give a child, which should be a row, and then inside this row we'll give a main axis alignment, which would be main axis alignment dot space between, and then we'll give the children. So the children, and the first children would be, guys, this person's text. So we need to include a text, which would be define the person. So text which would actually act as a label for the number of persons. So persons, then let's give some text style. So style textile text style. Okay, then I will give a font size. So let's make this font size. Okay, font size will give 14, not too big, not too small. And then font weight will give it as font weight. We need to make it a bit bolder, so w 700. Yes, 700 would be sufficient. And then we need this option, which is the count, which actually maintains the count. So let's call it a custom person widget, because we can customize the number of persons. So after this text we would give this custom person widget. Okay, person widget and we'll be building it. So let's build this custom person widget. So here I would build a container, because it is actually a container. So actually it is stateful. It will be a stateful widget. So I'll just create a because you can basically change the count. So not container, I've just mistaken it. And then we'll create a stateful widget. We'll just name it as custom person widget. Custom person widget. Okay, so actually we are building a widget inside another widget. We are declaring a widget inside another widget. So let me just cut it out, and outside the last bracket I'll just paste it up here. So now we have our custom person widget. So this widget will basically return a container, yes, and but before that it will take an initial count, that is the initial number of person. So we need to mention this count first. So I think so let's mention that count up here. So it would be integer number of persons. Let's say number of persons is equal to 1 by default, and then how we need to set a double which would be the button width. So double uh, button width equals 30. We are actually going to need to set this button width to many parameters. So after that, after initializing our variables, what we need to do is we need to create a margin. Inside the container, we'll be back inside the container, and here we'll first give a margin. So edge insets dot only, okay, right. So I'll give a margin at the right, and okay, right. Okay, adds insets, not directional, it's just adds insets dot only, right, which would be 25. Okay, 25. And then we need we'll give a decoration, which would be a box decoration. So box decoration, and inside this box decoration what we need to do is we need to give a small border, and the border color would be lighter gray, and the border radius would be a bit circular. As you guys can see that this border is not that much sharp, so we'll make it a little bit curved. So the border radius would be circular. First of all, let's give the border, then the border dot all, okay, and the color, then colors dot gray, and this one would be 300. We'll make more lighter gray, and the width would be 2. Okay, so after border, what we need to do is we'll give the border radius. So border radius would be border radius dot circular, okay, circular, and the radius would be around 10. Okay, so we have our small button which can change the count of persons. So this is what we have, and after that to the container we'll give padding. So padding, and this padding would be edge insets dot symmetric. We need to give padding symmetrically, so vertical, okay, vertical, which should be 5. And after that we'll give a width. So the width would be 200, or let's say 120, because 200 would be quite wider. And after that we'll give a child to it. So this small container will have a child, and it will contain this small buttons, the increment button, the decrement button, and it will also show the count of persons. So this one would be a row, because we need to put all these things in the same row. So this one would be a row, I guess, yes, row. And inside this row we'll have a main axis alignment, and the main axis alignment dot space evenly, and then we need to have a children. Okay, children, we'll have a sized box as children. First of all, we need to have a sized box, and the size box will have a height and also width, and the height and width would be based on the button width, and this one also the button width, which we have already initialized before. Then this size box will have another child, and this child would be a flat button, So flat button, it would be just a flat button, and yes, and inside this flat button there would be a padding. Okay, padding, edge, insets, dot all. Okay, and this one would be 0 because we don't want any padding. So on pressing of this button, so this is the first button, so it would be the decrement button. So we just give the decrement method, so we'll use just a set state. So set state, yes, set state, if number of persons, we'll give a small conditional if number of persons, which we previously mentioned as 1. So if it is greater than 1, okay, if it is greater than 1, then number of persons will decrease. And I think I'm getting an error out here. So number of person, yes, it's, oh, it should be persons, sorry for that. So what this button will do is that if the number of person is greater than 1, that is 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 suppose, then this one would then pressing this one would actually change the count, that is decrease the count. And if the number remains at 1, we don't want to change it, and if the user press this decrement option, then it should not go to the 0, because that would supposedly mean that the card is empty or something like that, which is not possible. So actually let's keep it default at 1. So that's it. And now what we need to do is we need to display the number of persons into this small container. So we'll just create a child here, child, and it would be a text, which first of all this button actually will have a child to represent it, because we have not given in anything to represent this flat button. So this one have a small dash to represent it. We could have also used icons, but still in anything would suffice. So it would be a small dash. Then let's give it a style. So style, text style, text style. Okay, then font weight, font weight dot 600, comma font size, okay, font size 20. Okay, and after that we need another text to display the count of number of persons involved. So right here, I guess, yes, so right here we'd include a text. So this text would basically mean basically show the number of the count of persons. So number of persons, and number of persons dot to string. Okay, and after that we need to give a text style. So style, style. Okay, so what this number of person dot to string means, that it would convert the data to the string, so that we don't have to put all this quotation marks. And let's give a child. So the child, oh, wait a minute, this one is text. Okay, so here it should be a comma, and this style would be a text style. So textile, and textile, which would have font weight of 600, let's say. I'll just copy it up here, and the font size will also be same. So I'll just copy everything from here, and I'll just paste it right here. Okay, done. And then after that what we need to do is we need to include a sized box. So we'll have a size box, and inside this we'll have width, and the width and height would be same as before. Actually, let's just copy this up. So I'll copy this this size box from the decrement option, and I'll just paste it here. Except for now, what we need to change is that this one would be a plus, and it will actually increase if the number of persons okay, if the number of persons is greater than actually we don't need any conditional out here, so let's remove this. Let's not make it more complicated, so I'll just remove it. And yes, and we'll also remove this. Okay, so I guess everything is fine. And yes, okay. And now after that, what we need to do is I think we need to give some padding. Okay, it's already given. We don't need, because we have already mentioned this height and width. So so our container is done, this part is done. And now what we need to do is we need to build this next option, that is the dummy bar, uh, which would actually allow the which would actually mean that hitting this would actually confirm the orders. So let us build it, and let us end the bottom bar section. So now what we are going to build is that we are going to build the next part. So the next button bar is will actually be, so the next button bar would be up here inside our bottom bar widget. So let's create the next bottom bar, and it would be a container. So container next button bar. And inside this next button bar, what we need is it will return a container. So it is going to return a container, and inside this container we'll have the margin. So we'll have the margin and also the padding, and yes, so let's copy, let's paste it here. And this one would change, the margin would be right 25, and the padding would be as insets dot all, and it would be just 25. So we have this container out here. And after that, what we need to do, we need to include a decoration, which would be a box decoration, and then we'll have the color. So colors dot red, comma border radius would be border radius dot border radius, where is border radius dot circular, and it would be 15, because as you guys can see that its color is red and the border radius is not that sharp, it is just around that, so we are using 15. So 15 would be sufficient. And then what else do we need? We need a child. So we are going to need a child. But let's give a semicolon, otherwise it will be giving us an error. And the child would be a row. Why we are going to need a row? Because it is going to show this dummy text and the next option in the same row, so we are including a row. And this row would have children widgets, which would be, the first one would be a text, which would actually be 15 to 25 minutes. Okay, minutes. And then let's give a style. So style, okay, style, text style, text style would be font weight. So font weight, where is font weight? Font weight dot w 800. And then the font size should be font size would be 14, let's say. So that's it. And after that we need to give some space, so we would include a spacer. So yes, so let's include a spacer. So spacer, which is a widget. So after that, after spacer, we'll have text, and the text would contain next. So this is the text. So again, I'm making too many typing mistakes, so forgive me for that. And then we need to give a text style. So text style would be this one. So I'll just copy this up, and I'll just paste it here. So let's say what we can change. So the font weight would be a little deeper, so it would be a little deeper, and then the font size will be a little bit bigger, so it would be 15. Okay, let's say 16. So that's it, guys. In this video, what we have created is that we have created this okay, so we have created this bottom bar which will contain this total amount and also the number of persons and also the next option. And we would also need to create a method which is the total amount method, which will basically display the total amount, because it is going to count the number of items and it is going to display the total calculate the total amount. So this we are going to do along with the card body. So this is going to be done in the next video, that is in the next part. So guys, do like and share this video if you found it helpful, and do subscribe to my channel for new notification and new updates. So till then, see you guys in the next part. And also I would like to thank you guys for you guys are showing support on me. And this if you guys continue this support, then I would be encouraged to make videos more regularly. So thanks for your support, guys, and till then, see you in the next part.